Welcome back, America. And in case last night's showdown in Alaska and Wyoming wasn't enough electoral politics for you, well, guess what? We've got another primary election fast approaching 6 days in one of the most important states in America. The state of Florida will hold its primaries on Tuesday, August 23rd. That's next Tuesday already. And here to talk about his primary and the very reason he hopes to take on current 9th Congressional District Representative Darren Soto is Scotty Moore. Scotty, welcome back to the show.
I love being on the show. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure. And remember, you can't say Darren Soto without saying the fact that he votes 100% of the time with Nancy Pelosi.
You got that down, don't you? All right.
Yes, sir.
Scotty, since the last time we talked to you, there's a big bandwagon following behind you. Ted Cruz, lots of people coming to endorse you. Momentum. Tell us a little bit about why all these national figures are getting involved in Central Florida and getting behind you.
Well, yeah, everything is on the line in this election. I mean, we're at a critical moment. I don't think I need to convince you or your viewers of that reality. I mean, even look at what's happening in Mar-a-Lago. And so we're at a critical moment in our nation's history. And so it really matters. We have got to stop what is being pushed, indoctrinated. We're at risk of really losing America. And so, you know, Senator Cruz, when he gave me a call, I was very honored to have his endorsement. And he was talking about that very thing. Of course, President Trump's chief of staff, Mr. Mark Meadows, said the same thing. And we're really looking for candidates who are going to put America first. And so they're looking to see who has the viability of pushing forward and winning. And they teamed up with Team Scotty. So I feel very honored.
Congrats. Big day.
I love it. And Senator Ted Cruz, he's such a staunch constitutionalist. He commands a lot of adoration and respect within the Republican Party, so congratulations on that. I wanted to air this funny clip. You live in a state with America's favorite governor, I think by far, and he always has some very pithy things to say, including this. Check it out.
What I've said is that the state of Florida is the place where woke goes to die.
Yeah, I hate to say it. Woke is born in California. It dies in Florida, thank goodness. As you are out campaigning, Scotty, I know that wokeness, especially with respect to families and kids, is a big conversation. Expound on that a little for our audience going into your big primary on Tuesday.
Yeah, you know, this is a nation, I believe, where really we want to live and raise our families and have our jobs, and the very American values that we hold dear are at risk. That includes the very structure of the family. You know, I really believe strong families make for a strong America. And now what we're seeing is our kids are under attack, the indoctrination, and not only that, but our jobs are under attack. And we've got these out of control administrative state, these 3-letter agencies are attacking the DOJ, calling parents domestic terrorists. And what we saw at Mar-a-Lago, also the NIH and the CDC and Fauci. We got the IRS out of control with 87,000 new agents coming after you. And by the way, that's all Americans. So when they come here, it's DOA, dead on arrival. We do not support that woke. And that's why the most people are coming here, because they want that freedom. They want the America that we need to hold strong and dear and fight back, or else we risk losing it forever.
Yeah, it's a remarkable dynamic when you see people vote with their feet first and their ballot second. Then you know something's afoot. I want to ask a little bit about the raid in Mar-a-Lago. Happened in your great state to the south. The FBI coming in, raiding a former president's home, his office, takes his passports, takes privileged documents. I know you're a law and order guy. I know you support law enforcement day in and day out. Your thoughts on this raid and whether this was a law enforcement action or a political action?
Well, look, there are two different things here. Politics are at play, no doubt about it, and you got to look to the top. I've said time and time again that we're at a critical moment because we're experiencing a leadership crisis. And you look at what's happening with Merrick Garland and even the top of the DOJ and everyone from below. You know, there are FBI agents who are receiving orders and following through on those orders. But we even saw with Congressman Jim Jordan, there are a number of FBI agents who are very concerned and they're speaking out against that. And so those are two different things. What we have is American government out of control and not being held in checks and balances. This was very much a political action. Consider what happened with Hillary Clinton, or therefore maybe the lack of action of anything happening. And so this was just totally uncalled for. There were other ways to handle it and work the process, yet they took the extreme measure of doing this. And I believe this is going to backfire. This is totally an abuse of power. And Merrick Garland does not have answers. They're not being transparent. We're seeing a bunch of misinformation that just continues to breed distrust. And what we've seen from the whole push the science, believe the science, and the changing evolution of the narrative, we're seeing that here as well. And so more and more distrust. We're not trusting the American government, and a government that is out of control needs to be held in check. And that's the job of Congress. I look forward to getting there, working with the Senate and holding our government accountable. By the way, what good is it to have checks and balances if we don't employ and use those checks and balances?
Great question.
Yep. Absolutely. Scotty, I remember about a year and a half ago when I was first introduced to you through a family member in Florida. And I remember you asking me to pray for you in your decision on whether or not you should run for Congress. And I remember thinking at that time, this guy is America first. He is MAGA. He loves his state. He loves his country. He loves his family. He loves everything that America stands for. And I just think now here we are on the cusp, 6 days out from your election. And I just feel like President Trump has got to come around and endorse you because you are exactly the type of person we need in Congress.
Well, I appreciate that. You're very kind. And I'm just trying to be obedient to what I believe the Lord is asking me to do. We spent 21 years working for a Christian nonprofit, teaching, training, equipping. I lived overseas in Brazil. I really believe that we need to return back to God and the moral values of our country, and we've lost that. And so staying in step. By the way, if you go to ScottyMooreForCongress.com, Scotty with a Y, you'll see my wife's testimony. She has a 3-minute testimony, and she talks about the very thing. Because when I brought this up to her, I think her exact response was when I said, "Hey, I think the Lord's asking me to run for U.S. Congress." I think she said, "No, he's not. No, not our family." That's. I don't want to get. And she was being mama bear, protecting her kids. And, but here we are. Clearly, we're just responding, and look at what the Lord has done. We're very grateful. And listen, I believe God's doing something across our nation to protect and save our country. God's not finished with our country yet. We have a great country, but we need the people to rise up and speak up and be a part of the process to help save our country.
Yeah, listen, San Francisco voters went into the booth, they pulled a lever and said, I don't want a liberal district attorney because I want my kids to be safe. They threw out some school board members because they said, I don't want my kids to be indoctrinated. We got 20 seconds left. What question do you want voters to ask when they pull the lever for you?
Well, consider this. Look at the past 2 years and where we're at right now. Don't forget Afghanistan, all the mess, high gas prices, indoctrination. You got to have a long-term memory and look back where we had under the policies of President Trump.
Remember
we can
where
do
we
this.
came
We
from.
need your help.
Yeah.
Where we came from, let me
We're gonna
help
have to leave it there, Scotty, just 'cause
ScottyMooreForCongress.com.
All right, brother. Thanks for joining us, folks. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back after this.